Da-da-da-da. What's up, everyone? Scott Brent coming to you on this late Saturday evening. Hopefully, everyone had a great Saturday. I know it was chilly and cold. Ended up going and helping out with a move, so that was a good time. Not tired, a little bit sore and whatnot, but I think it's unique because lifting heavy things and moving stuff and constantly moving can be tiresome, but I'm grateful that I found a product that allows me to not feel tired, helps with the rejuvenation process, and just keeps my body functioning right and moving right and whatnot. So grateful for that. But yeah, today was not warm. It was cold, and moving was very interesting and whatnot. But grateful to be able to have that opportunity to go help somebody else out and give value to that individual to help them move from one house to the next house and whatnot. And so hopefully you were able to go out and give value to someone else, find a way to create value and really step into your zone of genius and step into your purpose and step into what you're meant to do. And I find it interesting because I had posted a question yesterday, and I love seeing the responses that came in regards to the question that was asked, and just very powerful to see what really drives another person, what they are hungry for, and what really is the core of who they are and what they believe their purpose is and the cause that they want to go after and whatnot. And so it's one of those things that I think a lot of times as individuals, we really don't do the deep dive. We end up doing some different stuff. And I think sometimes we don't do the deep dive because we're scared what may show up on the other end. And it may not be what we want. We have this big goal and this big dream of what we want to achieve. But at times, you'll have something that will pop up and you'll look and be like, this is not what I want. And I think it's interesting because when I was reading a book, and it's Vibrational Money Immersion, it's by Ray Higdon. So it's another book that just reading, stepping in and working on my mindset and seeing what I can do to adjust and shift. Because talking about money and speaking to individuals when it comes to the idea and the topic of money, that can be tough for people because of the paradigm, the stories that have been told, their belief system. And it's very unique because if you have a big goal, but you don't have money to achieve the big goal, how are you going to get there? And so the other thing inside the book, Ray was talking, he's like, if you have this hesitation to money and you're like, oh, money's not a big thing. Money, I'm not about the money. Then why would money come to you? And it's crazy when you think about that. You're like, what? Money coming to me? Like, what are you talking about? This is nuts. But it's the vibration that you put off. As I've done studies and I've looked at different things, money is just energy. Money is just a vehicle that allows you to have more options, allows you to have more choices. But ultimately, the money is there for you to go and achieve your big goal and dream, whatever that may be. But you've got to adjust your mindset. You've got to adjust how you look at something. You've got to adjust the piece up here. And it is your mindset. It's a big one that you have to adjust. But we have had paradigms. We've had these stories stuffed in our head. And are they still serving you? So you've got to really look in regards. And I find it funny because the chapter that I was reading today, I'm almost done with it, is about persistence. And that kind of goes hand in hand with consistency. So your consistency is you showing up. And it's not sexy because there's times when I'm doing a live, there's times I'm like, I don't want to do a live. I don't want to do it today, but I've got to do it. It's that consistency piece. It's showing up and allowing people to know who I am. And it's the fact of just getting out there. I find it one of those things that's very powerful because another individual I listen to and follow is Gary Vaynerchuk. And it's what he talks about when it comes to content. He talks about putting out 15 pieces of content a day. I'm like, oh my goodness, that's a lot. Even though there's several different platforms and whatnot, but it's one of those things that it's just consistency. It's showing up. And there's different ways that you can create content. And I've talked a little bit about it too. The fact that when it comes to doing a live, doing a podcast, or writing, when it comes to a blog, writing is the lowest thing on the totem pole. I would much rather do a live. I would much rather do a podcast. But I looked at it. Writing is another medium that allows me to reach an audience that may not be reached through the aspect of doing a live or doing a podcast. Not everybody listens to a podcast. And so it's one of those things that you got to understand the power of the different platforms that are available to us today. That being social media, that being the podcast, that being YouTube, even though YouTube may fall under social media a little bit. But the powerful thing is when you look at the stats for a podcast, and it was October, I believe, it's 1.2 million active podcasts versus 40 to 60 million active YouTube channels. So if you think about that, 1.2 million versus 40 to 60, which one has a bigger blue ocean? And if you haven't heard the idea of blue ocean versus red ocean it's very crammed. It's jam-packed. Blue ocean is wide open. And so with podcasting, that is an avenue that is available. And you got to understand, you have a message that somebody else needs to hear. You're not everybody's cup of tea, though. And so the aspect of showing up, sharing your message is going to be heard by the people that need to hear it. Those that don't need to hear it's going to roll off. It's going to go in one ear and out the other. They're not going to pay attention and whatnot. But you've got to take advantage. And so I talked about this a couple of days ago. When it comes to doing a live, when it comes to utilizing social media, because video is one of those things that can attract individuals because of the engagement, somebody speaking and whatnot, compared to writing a post. I've looked at it. I'd much rather watch a video than read a post, but that's my opinion. That's me, though. So you've got to look at yourself as an individual and see what suits you. But there's many different mediums that you can take and go after. So, but with the persistence aspect, hand in hand with the consistency, it's unique. So looking at the chapter here, persistence, there's a quote by Robert Kiyosaki. And Robert Kiyosaki had said, the size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire. So that's the first thing, your desire. What is your desire? Do you have a strong desire or is it a weak desire? Is the desire true to you as an individual? Or is that desire that you have been put into your mind by somebody else? And now are you operating in your zone of genius? You've got to look at this, because if you have a desire, but it's not your true desire, it doesn't fall in line with who you are, being your true solid self, showing up as your true solid self, it's not going to make that impact that you want it to make. And so too many people end up getting into the realm of, let me do something that somebody else told me to do because they thought I'd be great at it. But that may not be your passion. You may be doing something that you truly dislike, but you're doing it because society told you need to do it. So there's the fact of you're in a job, and you'll see these studies. There's been individuals that will get in a job that they truly don't like, and it impacts them. It impacts their energy. It impacts their health, because you're doing something that doesn't pertain to who you are as the individual. It doesn't speak to your soul. It doesn't speak to your core. And so that can impact your health. And so there was actually a story of this gentleman. He was making $150,000 a year, but every time he'd pull up to his job, he would start having health issues. I think it was his heart. And so it's unique when you look at that, about doing something that you truly don't love and the impact it can have on you. And it can be tough because you may be stuck in a box that you're scared to get out of, because if you go do something that is truly who you are, you might be judged. You might have family and friends that are like, you're crazy for doing that. This is not who you are. I've heard stories that people have jumped into something, it's exploded for them. It took some time, but they had talked to family and friends, and family and friends were like, what are you doing? You're giving up a great job with great benefits. Okay, that's cool. But what do you want to do? Who are you? Because there's avenues out there that you can find and create benefits for yourself. And you're going after your dreams. You're going after what it is you are as an individual. And so it's so unique. It's so powerful when you start looking and start seeing individuals that are chasing something because they're trying to get validation from somebody else. And so it's one of those things that I have brought up, and it's really been huge for me, that there's going to be people that are going to love me. There's going to be people that hate me. There's no in between. And I don't want people playing this in between road. I want to know truly where that person stands. Do you love me or you hate me? Cool. That's your choice. That's your lens that you're looking at life. And so I look, when it comes to Patrick and I with Two Native Sons, one of the things that we speak on a lot of times is the imperfect action. And so it's one of those things that just take the action. It may not be perfect. It may be imperfect. And a lot of individuals are more drawn to seeing that imperfect action take place because it's real life. You're showing up as your true solid self instead of showing up as your fake self and trying to be perfect, and you're missing out on an opportunity. Even if you know 70% of what you need to do for your opportunity, whatever it is, go and make pivots when you need to make pivots. You're going to be in a better position than somebody that's like, oh, I need to know 95% of everything before I start going after whatever it is. You do that, you're going to miss out on opportunities. You're going to miss out on time. You're going to miss out on those chances that you need to take to grow and have the progression. It doesn't need to be perfect. And so that's one of the things that we're working on with the merch that we have for Two Native Sons. One of it is shirts, hoodies, whatever it is, with imperfect action. As a reminder for people, when you're walking around and you're wearing that and people are like, what do you mean by imperfect action? This is what it is. Go out there and go do it. Even if you only know 70% of it, go swing the bat. Go do what you are destined to do. Go chase your dreams. Go chase after whatever it is. And just trust the process. You might have to do some different things as you're chasing the dreams. But man, you got to go do it. And then we got Doug over here comment coming in. So much of us try to wait for the perfect time. We don't take action. Oh my goodness, that is true. Because one of the questions I had posed, I had a good friend of mine, Lisa Lujan, that had talked about one of her desires that she wants to do is create a nonprofit for individuals when it comes to dental care. And she's like, I will do that soon one day. And I was like, you better do it now, because you don't know when that one day is going to come. That one day may not come. You may go step out your door, get ran over by a bus. Bye-bye. And so there is not a perfect time. There's not a perfect day. There's nothing in regards with this. You just got to go do it. Because if you wait for the perfect day, that ain't happening. You better go do what you need to and get out there and just swing the bat, because there's no such thing as a perfect day. There's no such thing as a perfect time, because you'll be like, well, this is what I need, everything line up. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, I think it's lined up. And then something moves out of position. And you're like, what the hell? What is going on here? And so then you're like, well, let me grab it and put it back in line, have everything straight. And then something else moves. And you're like, oh my goodness, like really, can we just have this straight? Can we have this as it needs to be? But too many people, man, it's like, it's not perfect. Nothing's in line. Look out, screw that, go do it. So I have to laugh, because it's just one of those things. But within the chapter of persistence, there was, let me see something here. Where is it? I'm missing it here. I had it, and then whatever, I'll find it. The first thing that really sticks out with what Ray wrote in this chapter was, understand that to snap out of your non-persistence, you may have to move slowly at first. Man, how many of you really truly want to move slowly? A lot of people are like, screw that. That's just time that's getting wasted potentially. No. If we go look at a child's story, The Hare and the Tortoise, and you go read it, who won? It was the tortoise that won. Took his time, went slowly, because the hare's like, oh, I'm good and whatnot. And then the hare lost the race. The tortoise went about it very slowly, very meticulously, took his time, did what he needed to. But it's the same thing here. To get out of that non-persistence, start slowly. So there could be the possibility that maybe you want to get into doing lives. Okay. So instead of, like myself, a lot of my lives are 25, 30 minutes sometimes. Start with 3 minutes. Start with 30 seconds. Just do something. Start somewhere. I don't care. You got to decide what's best for you. And then as you do that, you start building upon that. Or maybe you keep just doing 30-second lives. And that's who you are. And guess what? That very quick 30 seconds is going to draw in a lot of people, because it's shorter time. There's a lot that goes on. So hence the reason a lot of my lives are a lot longer, because I've got a lot to talk about. But you know what? To each their own. But if you want to go do a live, go do it. Even if it's 30 seconds, doesn't matter. Start and then move forward. But you could potentially just do it where it's 30 seconds each time, whatever it is. But guess what? That's going to hook people. And it's a beautiful thing. And that's where you start building your tribe, your audience, your family. You start building those people that are going to be there for you and are going to support you. It's huge when you think about that, but it's the oxymoron of, we don't want it to be slow. We live in a society where Amazon can deliver a product to you in 2 days. I had an order where I got something from Amazon that arrived in 2 days. What does that do to us as a society if we're having product that's coming in 2 days? It's making us get to the point where everything else has to happen quickly. We need to go back to the idea of being a society that's a crockpot society instead of a microwave society. Crockpots take time to get the product done, but once it's done, it is delicious, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. Microwave, think about what goes in a microwave. It is garbage sometimes. So it's not good for you. But that's your option. That's your choice. You got to make a decision. Is this really good for me? But yeah, so if you've got to go slow, go slow. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Go and do you. Go and do what you need to do. Take that imperfect action. Don't matter. Go do it. And let me see here. There was another thing in here that stuck out, and now I gotta find it. Let's see here. So this is what I talked a little bit before starting. If it's a grand goal, you are going to be tested. You will be tested. Anything in life that you want, you're going to be tested. Why? Because the universe, whatever you believe in, is there to truly see if you are about what you're speaking on, or are you just showing up trying to be somebody else that's not you, or you just showing up as your pseudo self and speaking some crazy words and saying, this is what I'm going to do because I want to impress Bob over there. Or are you going to show up as your solid self, your true self, and go do it and understand that if you want it, you're going to be tested. The test is there to really see where you're at, to see if you're truly about what you're speaking on, about what you're putting out there. But when people get tested, they're like, oh, this sucks. This is garbage. I don't like it. Guess what? The challenges, the tests that you have are there to grow, to progress. And that's more valuable a lot of times than quick wins. Because with quick wins, you haven't learned anything. There hasn't been a lesson. You haven't had the test to truly test you to make sure you're ready for that next level. And sometimes the test sucks. But guess what? It's there for a reason. And so it's one of these thoughts. It's the mindset piece that you've got to shift. Yes, the test sometimes sucks, but the test is necessary. The test is there for a reason. The challenge is there for a reason. It's there for your growth and progression. And so you've got to just lean into and embrace it. Yeah, that sucks. You're like, man, do I have to embrace it? Yes, embrace it. Go and do what you need to, embrace it. Know that challenges are going to be there. But as you grow and progress, that challenge is going to reduce. You're going to get to the next level. Guess what? Once you get to the next level, bam, you're going to have another challenge and test. Yeah, let's see what we got. Doug here. Fear holds us back. Some people fear being tested. The test is there for a freaking reason. No, it's true. It's true. And I think if we look at it too, and I talked about this yesterday with the big leap, Gay Hendricks was talking about the fact that we a lot of times have these upper limiting beliefs. And so he was talking about a lady that he worked with, and she wanted to write. But she ran into the issue. Her first book that she wrote was a great hit. She had 3 sisters. One sister's like, man, that was great. You did a great job. And then the other 2 were jealous of her. And so that judgment, that jealousy from the sisters really put this upper limiting belief, and she got stuck. And so she's like, I need to write 2-3 hours a day. But she would end up going, and family would leave, kids would leave, husband would leave, and she was in the house, and she's like, well, I got to clean the house. And Gay Hendricks like, what's the top priority for you to become a best-selling author or to have a clean house? And so she had talked about, she's like, my priority is I want to be a best-selling author. But then Gay's like, well, look at what you're doing. You talk about wanting to be a best-selling author. You talk about needing to write 2 or 3 hours a day, but you're having these upper limiting beliefs, and the house is getting in the way of you going after your dreams. You're going there. And so he's like, if your husband was to come home and see you going after your passion, do you think your husband's going to be mad at you for doing that? And she's like, no, he won't be mad. So it's crazy when you see that. But then he had talked about the fact that this lady, she had the fear that if she committed to her craft of the creativity process and she failed, she's going to have massive rejection. So she had the flip side where she's like, well, if I go small, there is the chance that I do not have to worry. I can avoid that judgment piece. I can avoid the failure. And oh man, so think about that. The upper limiting belief. What is your upper limiting belief? What is keeping you from going to the next level? What do you need to break through? What do you need to adjust? What mindset do you need to take on? What story do you need to tell yourself, or what story do you need to tear down? What belief do you have that's not serving you, and you need to go in there and rip it out and create a new belief? And so, oh man, I look at this and this is stuff that I can talk about 24/7. But yeah, no, it's man, we really hold ourselves back. You're limitless. You have a mind that gives you limitless abilities, but you've got to go and do the damn deal of ripping those beliefs out. You need to change how you look at yourself. You need to change your story. You may need to change who you hang out with. You need to probably change the people that you surround yourself with. That could be family. That can be tough. Or that could be friends that you've known for 25 years, or you went to high school with these friends. Are they serving you? Are they helping you reach that next level? You've got to ask yourself, what do you want? Do you want your best possible life, or do you want to accept the status quo? Be stuck in your comfort zone, stuck in the box, even though you need to step out of that dang box and look at the bigger picture. It's up to you. You got to understand that you are the expert of your own life. You are the hero of your own life. You will have people that will come into your life that will serve as a mentor, as a guide for you, but they cannot go on your hero's journey for you. You've got to go do that. You've got to go face the dragon, go face the demon, whatever it is. You've got to slay it. So when you come back from your hero's journey, you have made the growth and the progression to get to where you need to, that next level. But it's not easy. It's not fun. It's work. It is truly work, because your mindset is a muscle. Your mind is a muscle. And so think about people that have a six-pack ab and they go to the gym, they're working out. Once they get their six-pack abs, what are they doing? They are continuing to work on their craft. So it's the same thing with your mindset. Once you get to that certain level and you think you're good, do not fool yourself. Do not tell yourself this lie that, oh, you're good. You don't need to do any other work. No, you've got to keep moving. You've got to keep growing. You've got to keep getting the education. You've got to keep finding those mentors. You've got to keep finding the books. You've got to find things that are going to allow you to progress and get to that next level. Even though you're here, you've hit that level, you've got to figure out a way to get to the next level. An interesting saying that I heard was, every new level that you get to, you're going to face a new devil, whatever that is. And so that's scary when you truly think about it. Sometimes you're like, man, do I want to go from this new level to the next level and face the next obstacles, face the next challenges? Do I want to grow more as an individual? Do I want to get to that level where I get there and I'm going to have to do some more work? I'm going to have to face these challenges to grow and progress to the person that I need to become at that next level. So it's just something to think about. And like I've talked about, because ultimately it's one of those things that people talk that people have to hear something 6 to 10 times for it to stick. And so for myself, I'm working on my coaching practice. A big niche when it comes to who I work with is divorced individuals. At first, it was working with divorced gentlemen, but then I had a couple of good people in my life that brought up, and they're like, why don't you look at working with both men and women? And it clicked, and I was like, yep, let me go ahead and expand. Because the thing is, we're all in a similar boat going down our own journey, but it's very similar. The biggest thing when you go through the shit of a divorce and you're on your own and you're blaming yourself is your mindset, the stories that you're telling yourself. So if you need somebody to talk to, because I had a good friend, Jasper Axelrad, which is our sponsor for Two Native Sons, but she's a good friend of mine. And she had brought up, she's like, you as an individual bring a space of neutrality. You bring a space of non-judgment. You open and you give space to individuals to really grow, ask questions, do what they need to get from their baseline to get to their best life possible, whatever that is. And so hearing that, I was like, okay, yep, you're right. I know what I bring to the table. But if you feel as if you're stuck, you need help, you need somebody to talk to, send me a private message, reach out to me. I'm more than happy to sit down and do a discovery session with you and see what work you may need to accomplish, but that's up to you. You need to look and say, what do I want to improve? What part of my life do I want to improve? Once I can improve that and have the skills and the tool sets, then what's something else that I need to improve? I might not be the coach for you. You might need somebody else, which is fine. It's one of those things that as coaches, if you've got somebody that you're working with and you just don't feel like it's a good fit and the coach is fighting you, that's not a good coach. That coach needs to understand that you need to feel comfortable as the client. You need to feel comfortable in that relationship because it is a partnership that you guys are working together. And so if I'm not the coach for you, I've got plenty of people that I know that I can reach out to and get you connected with, because I don't fit everybody. I'm not everybody's cup of tea. It goes back to the fact that you either love me or you hate me. And so that's the thing. I'm not here to force anything. I'm here to help people progress. I'm here to help people, give them gentle accountability and be there for them, to allow them to go from baseline to thriving in whatever aspect it is. And so if you've got any questions, maybe it's not coaching, but it's stuff that I've taught Patrick, Doug Brown, that's been on a couple of the videos, and he makes comments and he chimes in and he gives his perspective and whatnot. If you need to talk to somebody, don't hesitate to reach out. There's plenty of people that are really driven to see people succeed and see people win. So don't let that fear hold you back. Don't let your ego get in the way. Ask for help. If you don't have anybody in your corner, or you've got the same family and friends that are holding you back, you feel like you're a crab in the bucket with everybody else being a crab, you're trying to get to the top and they're pulling you back. Don't be scared to reach out. Don't hesitate to reach out. There are plenty of great people that I know that truly are concerned to see people win, to see people get to that next level. And so if you're scared about being judged, let that go. I truly am one of those people that is the least judgmental person that you'll meet, because I'm at the point where we are all humans. We all make mistakes. We all falter. We all fail. And so it's the aspect of giving people the space to do what they need to grow and learn and give themselves grace. So don't let the fear hold you back. If you feel as if you're going to be viewed as weak for asking for help, screw that shit. Who told you you're going to be weak? Who's put that story in your head that you are weak by asking for help? No, screw that shit. You need to ask. You need to stay strong. You need to ask for help. So If you find value in this video, any aha moments that you took from the video, share it. Would love to hear your perspective. If there's something, and like I always tell people, if there's something that you're looking at it differently, share that perspective. I would love to hear your perspective. But if you know somebody that could benefit from this video, you're finding value in this video, share it. Because ultimately, to impact the world and make the change, the value that you're finding, you're accumulating, you need to share it. And so for Facebook, there's the little share button. Hit the share button, send it out to whoever needs to see it. You can take this video and strip it down to be your own video. You talk about whatever you want. You can talk about stuff that I've talked about, but put it in your own words. I don't care, because we all have a perspective that we see life in, and the message that you're sharing somebody may need. And it could be that one day that you could have stripped it down and created your own message and shared it, that it's that 1 degree of change somebody needs that's going to flip it for them. And so instead of being a selfish jerk or you're scared, punch the ego in the face, tell it to sit down and say, thank you for showing up and saying, hey, I'm scared. Screw it. Go and do what you need to. But just know that you have a message that somebody else needs to hear. So get out of your own way, take the spotlight off of yourself, and put it on those other individuals, whoever it may be. Put it on your audience. I don't care. Put it on your tribe. Put it on your family. Do what you need to, but take it off of yourself and put it on other people. So thank you guys for your support. Thank you for your time. Thank you for jumping on and watching it. Thank you for sharing this video. I will catch you guys later. Enjoy the rest of your evening. It's almost Sunday morning. So hopefully you guys have a great Sunday. I will catch you guys later. Love you. Peace. Check you later.